July 18th, 2025 marks 4 years without Destiny McClain. The 23-year-old shot and killed while just trying to order at a food truck near 17th Street and McDowell.
This is the one time she actually left the house and she didn't make it home.
We have no reason to believe that Destiny was targeted for who she was or anything like that. So we are trying to find out why this happened. All we have is that video right now. We are not able to clearly identify the make or model based off of that video.
Not have any answers and not have any closure, you just feel lost.
Phoenix police quickly releasing surveillance video of a vehicle of interest seen leaving the area after the early morning shooting. But Destiny's family still waits for answers. Her mom sat down with us to talk about the case, her daughter, and her own efforts to help others. We have Brenda Gilliam-Miller here, Destiny McClain's mom. And we wanted to talk to you about her case because when this airs, it'll be a week or even just a few days until that 4-year mark since you lost your daughter. I know that you've told me before that sometimes it kind of feels like Groundhog Day. Take me through how you're feeling with this 4-year mark approaching.
Well, with a 4-year, any time it comes close to the anniversary, it gets a little emotional. But going on 4 years with no answers, it just tends to get harder. It's a range of emotions. It's sadness. It's, I have pain because from the loss of losing my daughter. I do have anger, but I don't want to say like I'm angry. I have anger directed towards the fact that we're 4 years into it with still no type of semblance to any type of closure. But the emotions are kind of, it's like a roller coaster. So one moment I could be up, the next moment I can be down. And it really tends to happen around this time in her birthday.
Take me back to July 18th when this happened. When did you get that call?
I actually did not get a call. What happened, I was woken up by my daughter Essence. When Destiny went out the night before, one thing about all of my children, they're very close. They share their location. So when she was heading out, she had shared her location with her sisters and she was on FaceTime with my oldest daughter. And when she was on her way home, she was supposed to do the same thing and reach out to my daughter Essence. So when Essence was never notified that Destiny was on her way home, she got a little worried and nervous and woke me up to see if I'd spoken with her. And I did speak with her about, I want to say about 2:30 in the morning because she accidentally butt dialed me and I returned her call. So I thought she was okay. And so when Essence, she just was it wasn't sitting right with her. So she was nervous and she was pacing through the house. And so we were all trying to text Destiny and call Destiny and none of us were getting any response. So after about 15 minutes, I just had an uneasy feeling. So I decided I was going to go search for her. And my daughters, Essence and Faith, decided they were coming with me. And then my other daughter, Brianna, who lives in Superior, she drove down and we all met at the location. So when I was exiting the freeway, I had a strange feeling. It was a feeling of dread because an incident had happened. I don't want to say it was too long before she passed, maybe within 6 months. But it was a situation with a coworker of hers. She had gone out on a date. It just didn't feel right to her, so she didn't go out with him again. And then later on, we found out that he allegedly had attacked somebody and had committed a homicide. So that is what popped into my head when I was exiting the freeway. I have no clue why it came into my head because it had been some time since that event had happened, and I don't know why. I just had an uneasy feeling, and then when I got off the freeway and got to the location where her phone was, I saw a crime scene. Eventually, the detective did come and get me, and we went and sat in the mobile crime unit, and that's when he advised me that Destiny had been a victim of a gunshot and had lost her life.
This was something that I'm assuming you never saw coming.
No, because you expect that if you live a certain lifestyle, and that is not the lifestyle that my children were raised in. So that was the furthest thing from my mind. Destiny was a homebody. She was a social butterfly as far as just in her regular life. But she worked every day, went to work, and then she was at home. So if she wasn't at work, she was at home. So she wasn't out there doing anything where she would be in a situation where she'd be targeted. So I never thought of something like a random drive-by, being affected by that, because that's just not what you think about.
That same month, you did a silent witness press conference.
Yes.
And you put your daughter's story out there hoping to get answers. They put out surveillance video. In those first few weeks, first few months, did you feel like maybe answers are going to come pretty quick?
Honestly, I didn't. I hoped it would, but I didn't, because from day one, the detective has always been very upfront with me. And the video footage that they had it from every angle, and the detective told me he'd never had so much footage of someone's last moments but couldn't piece it together. And he told me at that point that he felt the only way that this case would be solved would be for someone to come forward. So I was hoping that God would place it on someone's heart, to come forward, where we wouldn't be in this position 4 years later. Unfortunately, that hasn't transpired, but it wasn't something that I just automatically, thought that, okay, 6 months down the road we'll have answers, because the detective was very, like I said, he was very upfront with me at day one.
To see that surveillance video, to see that car, I mean, what is that like as a mom?
In this day and age, it's hard, because you've got shows on like the ID network, where they can zoom in and, clear this up. And so to not be able to have a clear photo or a clear image and be so grainy with where technology is, it's kind of disheartening.
When you hear that from the detective, the only way this might be solved, right? There could be other things, but the most likely way this would be solved if someone comes forward. Is that why you have put out Destiny's story, really wanted to be a voice for her?
Yes.
I'm sure there's other reasons, but is that kind of one of the main reasons?
Main reason that I've been vocal about her story is because I don't want her to be known as the victim of gun violence. I want her to be known as the caring and giving person that she was. But to your question, that's a small part of it as well. When I really started sharing her story, because for a while I wasn't ready to speak on it, but when I really started sharing it, it was also because I started encountering people that were going through something similar. And because there's so many of us, a lot of times we don't realize that there are so many of us. A lot of times we feel like we're the only one. And I started sharing my story on social media, and I started getting a lot of feedback from people who had been through traumatic experiences themselves. And them reaching out to me about me sharing my story, giving them the strength to want to share theirs. That really, I guess, lit a fire with me wanting to help others.
Destiny was just 23
Yes.
years old. This is not something that was normal for her. Describe your daughter, who she was.
Destiny was a character. She was so animated. She was low-key, she was a comedian. She had no shame. You couldn't embarrass her. She was who she was. She danced to the beat of her own drum. She didn't conform to what others expected. So, and she was definitely a fighter for, the underdog. She did not like to see people getting picked on. She did not like people getting bullied. So she was one of those people that would always stand up for people. She was also very generous. So if she saw somebody on the streets that needed something, sh- she was going to give them whatever she could to help them. And like I said, she was she was so funny. Just loved to just be the person to put a smile on someone's face.
Yeah, like unapologetically herself.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And a goofball. And that's the one thing, goofball. She was so goofy.
Yeah. You have a beautiful daughter. Does does it ever go through your mind just why? Why did this happen? Why did
Yes.
this happen to our family, to Destiny?
All the time. All the time, because we have a very close family. I'm adopted. So, and I was an only child. And with my girls, it was important for me to ensure that they had a close bond with one another. So when we lost her, it it's a big part of our lives because we are all so close. So it's like we've all lost a part of ourselves.
In terms of now almost at that 4-year mark, I mean, you're not slowing down, you're still putting her story out there. You're also working on some billboards potentially.
Yes, yes. I actually have an advocate that I have met through everything that I've been dealing with. I want to say it was the very first podcast, which was with Sarah Turney, Voices for Justice. And Haley is the research assistant for Voices for Justice, and she also does a lot of research for other podcasts, and she advocates for a lot of families like myself. Running across people like Sarah and Haley always has these amazing ideas, and so one of them was the billboard. So Haley's actually working on trying to get us a donated billboard for Destiny's case. So that's currently in the works.
What would that mean to see, information or even your daughter, just so that people can be reminded, hey, this case is not solved?
Oh my gosh, that would be an amazing feat, just because it's a physical, constant reminder, not just for myself.
I do want to ask, what is it like now, all these years later, working with investigators? Because I know they haven't at all given up on this case.
You know what? I will say I truly appreciate my detective and the investigators that have been working on my daughter's case. Um, my daughter's detective, he has been an inspiration to me. And a lot of what I've done, even what I chose to do, I've always reached out to him and, hey, I'd like to do this. Do you have any suggestions of how I should go about doing it? He has been a source of support, and I truly appreciate him. He's an amazing detective, and for him to even tell me that he's proud of me means a lot to me. And he tells me that he's told me, he's like, Brenda, I brag on you. He's like, I'm proud of everything that you've done in regards to, taking this and what you've done. So, and he just doesn't even realize how much that means to me coming from him.
In terms of your studying, tell us a little bit about that, because that's so inspiring. I mean, you're studying to become a victim's advocate, is that right?
Yes. So, like I was saying about Haley, just things that she's done and people that I've encountered through her, in addition to the mothers that I currently, support as far as just on a personal level. I wanted to have the actual skills and the credentials to do it properly. So I decided that I wanted to look into a program to become a credentialed advocate. And in doing so, in addition to what I'm doing, I want to be able to volunteer with law enforcement and with the judicial system. So when I decided that that's what I wanted to do, and actually, like I said, I did reach out to the detective about that. And he had talked to me about it maybe about a year ago. And I just kind of put it on the back burner and just continued doing what I was doing. And so this year I just was like, you know what, I'm ready now. So I found a program, and I went ahead and paid for it and enrolled in it. And it actually started last week. So I'm very excited and nervous. all at the
Yeah.
same time.
And you're also helping others through the foundation that you
Oh, yes.
created
Yes.
in your daughter's name.
Yes, Our Destiny, Our Future, that was born out of honoring Destiny. After the first year passed, I just wanted, like I said, it was very important for me for people to know who she was, for who she was, and not what happened to her. And so the focus of the organization was Destiny. And like I said, Destiny was very caring, very giving, and very supportive and wanting to help people. So I was trying to figure out what can I do, what can I do, what can I do. So I decided to do a scholarship fund initially because she didn't get to finish school. So I was like, well, it'd be amazing to help people, reach their destiny in Destiny's name. So that's where I started with scholarships, creating a scholarship fund. I just wanted to find people like Destiny and help them achieve their goals. So for the scholarship, in order to even qualify, they have to have some type of community service volunteer background. And it kind of grew from there. I started getting these donations. I'd already awarded my scholarships for the year. It's like, well, what am I going to do with this money? So that's when I decided, well, let me look at who is in the most need. Well, you have children in need, and she was my baby, so I wanted to help other babies, in need. And so I kind of started working towards foster care, and I met Cliff with Hope in a Future Foster Care. It's a very small organization, and I've built a rapport and, just a relationship with that organization. So being able to help those children, it just meant so much to me. And then they would send me pictures of, where my donations went, and that made me want to keep doing it. And so then I started going from the back to school drive to the Christmas drive, and I've just got other initiatives that I'm working on.
I know 4 years coming up, you've told me you're still really, really hopeful. How do you keep that hope about Destiny's case?
I've accepted that we may not get closure in my lifetime, but I have faith that we will get closure. So the reason why I say that is I have a friend that I went to both elementary and high school with. She also lost her daughter, and her case is still unsolved. So who am I to feel that my daughter's case is more important than the next person's? So I look at that, and I guess the best way I could say it is I'm one of many. So I may not get those answers in my lifetime. I pray that I do. I have faith that they're going to come. Because I've prayed, God, I've asked God for closure. So I do have the faith that we'll get those answers. I may not be around when those answers come, because how many times do we see that cases are solved 20 years after the fact? Yeah. So I do have the faith, but I don't let it deter me.
When you think about Destiny's case, someone who's watching this interview, either they've heard about the case or they haven't, what would your message be to the public? Just anyone out there, or maybe someone who does know something about this case?
Well, first of all, for the public, anybody out there, I just want everyone to know, I never expected this to happen to me. So if it can happen to me, it can happen to anyone. So hold your loved ones close and hold them tight. But for those also, I want people out there who may know what happened to my daughter to realize that if this happened to me, this could happen to your family as well. And how would you feel if 4 years later down the road, you're still waiting for somebody to have a conscience and come forward? Because multiple people know what happened. It's not just the individuals that were in the car. We all know human nature is just, you're going to share it. Whether it's venting, whether it's bragging, but more than one person knows the story. So there's multiple people out there, and I just ask that you take into account that this could have just as easily happened to one of your family members. And I'm just asking you out of the kindness of your heart, just to give us some type of closure.
We have posted more about Destiny's case, including how to submit tips, on our website, ABC15.com. We will continue to follow up on any updates here on Arizona Crime Uncovered. Thank you for watching Arizona Crime Uncovered. We're working to bring awareness to crimes where victims are still awaiting justice and also provide an in-depth look at cases still unfolding. Each episode breaks down a timeline of the case, where it stands now, and if any help is needed from the community. You can watch on ABC15.com, the ABC15 mobile app, Roku, YouTube, or any of your other streaming platforms.